good morning, everyone, and it's indeed a wonderful day. I must say, welcome to each and every person to Issues in Focus with Shabekie. Today, I am so privileged, and it's really my delectable pleasure to welcome our students here from different parts of the Caribbean, and moreover, they are students from different schools here in Trinidad. And one of the main things I wanted to do this interview for is to encourage some young person who is at home and you're thinking that, hey, what, I don't think I can come to school in a foreign land. And so they're going to share some information with us here this morning so that you all can be encouraged. So as usual, what I ask my guests to do is for them to introduce themselves. I'll be very happy if you guys can keep smiling, because it's a happy day, it's a happy moment. I know for some of us, we are actually almost, well, I'm finished with school. I know Arsel is finished with school too. I know so well, Lesia and the summer, they have just a few, well, I should say, are you officially in your final year? Just a little piece more remaining, right? Dexter is almost on his way out. Aquilah is almost on our way out too. So indeed, we are so delighted as students to be here. All right, so as usual, I'm gonna ask them to introduce themselves. So what I'm gonna do, I'm just gonna start in the same order that I'm seeing them. So I'm gonna start with Lesia, then we go to Aquilah, then Arsel, then Summer, and then we take the lone gentleman. I must say, Dexter, you must be privileged to be amongst 5 young ladies today. So really opportunity. Enjoy.
I am privileged.
All right, great. Thank you. So over to Lesia.
Okay, so good morning, everyone. My name is Lesia Padmore. I go to the University of the Southern Caribbean. The school, well, my department is Sciences and Technology, and I study nutrition and dietetics.
Okay, beautiful. And Lesia, where are you from?
I am from the lovely island of Barbados.
Aha, the Bajan.
Yeah.
So she is a Bajan, eh? Right. The land of
rocking my colors.
Oh, beautiful. I love that. You
Yes.
You see the thing about Bajans. Bajans are extremely patriotic. So you will always see them when it comes to anything that they have to do to publicly declare their countries. You will see them with some color. Well, I'm repping my color too. Black and red. Two colors of my flag. All right, great. Thank you very much, Lesia. So we go with Aquilah.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Aquilah Shepherd, and I attend the Wooding Law School, and I'm pursuing my legal education certificate, or what we would say, I'm studying law, and I am from Guyana.
Ah, beautiful. So you see, she has her flag there. And I am now getting jealous. You see, when I see that flag being raised, I'm looking around to see what did I do with my flag, but I think it's somewhere wrong. You will see it. Yes, so Aquilah is from Guyana, and she is a law student. And your specialty is, because we're hearing you a bit low, but I think your specialty is cybersecurity, right?
No, not as yet.
Not as yet. Okay, eventually. Yeah, I don't know much about the law in terms of how you guys specialize and when you specialize. I was trying to get a bit of information last night, but I'll get there one day. Don't worry. All right, thank you very much, Aquilah. Then we go to Arsel Jones.
Hi, good morning, everyone. My name is Arsel Jones, and I'm also Guyanese, as you can see by my flag. I'm 20 and I attend the University of Southern Caribbean. I'm a business major, School of Business, Economics degree, completed. Thank you, Jesus. And yeah, I'm happy to be here.
Okay, great. Thank you very much, Arsel, and welcome. Hi, Summer. Go right ahead.
Okay, hi everybody. Good morning. I am Summer Gentle, and I also hail all the way from the beautiful land of many waters known as Guyana. Very proud to be a Guyanese.
Right.
Also, I am from the school Science and Technology, and my major is Family and Consumer Sciences. Yeah, I originally set out to be a nutritionist, and then I wanted to be a dietitian, but I find myself shifting now in, thoughts, but we'll get there.
Okay, I understand. But keep praying about it and let God direct you which aspect exactly that you will be able to specialize in. All right, great. And then over to the lone gentleman, Dexter Smartt.
Hey, good day, everyone. My name is Dexter Smartt. I also attend the Wooding Law School. I'm pursuing my legal education certificate as well, better known as the LEC. And I am in my final month and a half to get,
I like that.
to get it. And yes, I am from Guyana as well. I also have my flag and my t-shirt, because
What?
gotta be a little extra.
Just go to that shirt again. Let me see. Straight out of the oil. Oh my
Royal Nation.
gosh! I don't know they have that jersey already. Wow.
No,
straight
I
out-
actually made it. I made it myself for Guyana night.
Oh, beautiful. I love that. I love that. And well, today we should be having another young lady joining us from St. Lucia. So we'll hear a bit from her in a moment. All right, great. So let me just ask you guys a few questions, seeing that the audience would have met you. Oh, by the way, for just in case anybody's asking, in terms, seeing that I'm dealing with school, I've completed USC and I would have completed a theology degree in, well, my bachelor's of arts degree in theology and a minor in psychology. Yes, so we are all students here on this platform this morning. All right, so let me ask a question. What made you guys choose that course of study? And you can answer in any order for any of the questions, other questions I'm gonna ask. Just put on your microphone. So if your microphone is on, I know that, okay, you're the person who's about to speak. So what made you choose that course of study that you have completed or that you're currently doing?
Okay,
All right.
so I'll start.
All right, go ahead, Lesia.
Yeah. Right. So to keep it brief, my reason for studying nutrition was to help people. Food and food used well helps you to have a good overall quality of health and life. So helping people to understand that would help them to be able to have the best life possible. So that's why I decided to go into this field.
Beautiful. Thank you very much for that. So I guess Lesia, maybe you're one of a very excellent cook.
I don't want to toot my own horn, but I think I'm pretty decent. I think I'm pretty okay. Yeah. I think my friends on dorm will be able to say that I can handle myself.
I like
Usually
that.
when I cook to share with others too, so they would have had tasted my hand anytime that I was at school. So yeah.
Okay, beautiful. Great. Thank you very much, Lesia. All right, who's the next person?
All right, so economics was one of the hardest subjects at my high school, and I went into it just because it was the most difficult. And then soon I discovered that they dealt a lot with sustainable development, and the goal was to eradicate poverty, and that was sort of what I wanted to be my missionary goal. So I was like, all right, cool, I'm gonna stick around.
Wow. Okay, excellent. I never looked at it in terms of that, maybe that's a person's aim, because most times when you think about economics, persons only talking about money and how they can, something about money, but to know that you want to specialize in terms of making that your missionary goal. Excellent. Go for it, Arsel. All right, who'll be next?
Okay, so how I started off when I was 21, I'm 26 now. When I was 21, I joined a missionary school, and it opened up my eyes to a lot of things. And I decided that, I don't want to do like a normal job. I want to be like a full-time missionary. Okay. But then I ended up coming back to Trinidad, and they was like, she should get a degree first, because I was going to go to UT Pines, which is a lifestyle institute in Oklahoma, I believe, Oakwood, I think, in the States. And I was going to go there to learn to be a lifestyle practitioner or lifestyle counselor. And they said, you know what, you should get a degree first, so at least you could have something to fall back on. Definitely. So that's where I started off, saying that, okay, I think I'll study to be a nutritionist. And then as I climbed further along the lines, I didn't say this before, but I'm in my final year. I'm practically at the end. And they were saying, well, you should get a degree first. So I, looked at it and I see that, well, the dietitian is a bit more qualified, and it goes a lot deeper into the food world and health and stuff like that. So I was like, okay, well, I think I'll be a dietitian. And it was also that I could be a better missionary, because honestly, I don't want to go and sit down in an office. I want to be able to go out into the field and be practical and social with people. So that would have been my reason for choosing, this course.
Wow, thank you so much for sharing that. I'm just looking at myself. I'm connecting with your with your specialty fields. And I know by God's grace, later down a couple more years, if my vision comes to fruition, that I can call upon these lawyers and call upon these dietitians and these food specialists and, you know, to give the speeches and to do certain things. So I'm keeping my connections alive. Who knows when I'll need you one day. All right, great. Who will be next?
Okay. My reason or reasons for choosing law.
All right, Aquilah, just a moment. Could you maybe turn up the volume on your computer? Because I think I'm hearing you a bit low.
Turning. I think it's up.
Okay, go ahead.
You hear me? Okay. So my reason or reasons for choosing law, I think it has changed or a lot over the years. At the beginning, I saw law as, you know, a successful career. That was in third form. Actually, we had to choose streams, and I was thinking, okay, you have to choose your stream and also choose what career you would want to, you know, pursue. And I was looking at the other streams, and I knew I wasn't good at science or math. So I was like, you know what, arts might be the stream for me because I love those courses. I love history and geography and English B. So I thought probably that stream. And then I started thinking about careers path in that stream.
Mm-hmm.
And law was one. So that was my first reason, because I was forced to pick a stream and a career. Then when I got to sixth form, I met this law tutor or law lecturer, and she was very inspirational, or I would say she was one of those persons that motivated me to, you know, still pursue law, because I saw her once in court and how she presented her case with so much confidence and so on. I felt like, you know, I want to do this. I want to help people, and I stuck with it. And I also think that the reason why I chose law is because of the amount of the diversity of, well, choices that you have. It's not like it's one spectrum. You can branch off into family, you can do cybersecurity law, you can go into different fields, and that's what I love about it. And I see it as a helping profession, and I see it as a profession to also help my country.
Okay.
Let's say if I choose to be a parliamentary counsel, I can assist in writing legislation which would help to move my country forward. So all of that said, I chose law because, one, I was forced to choose a career path. I saw it as, well, a successful career. I see it as a helping profession, and I love helping people. And I also would love to contribute to my country.
Okay, great. Thank you very much, Aquilah. And well, of course, I realize Dexter is taking his the back burner, and you know he's chilling and relaxing and say, ladies before gents. He's observing the normal little rule. I wonder if you're a gentleman overall like that, but I'm not gonna say anything more. But Dexter,
wow. Well, like Aquilah, law wasn't my first choice. Law wasn't really a choice I even looked at. at the beginning. I actually wanted to get into the science stream so I could be a doctor, and I didn't get in. So
Wow.
yeah, arts was my second choice, and I got into arts. And I saw, what probably is going to be law. But then I branched off eventually, and I went into international relations, and I did a degree in international relations. And while doing it, I was encouraged by one of my lecturers to, hey, when you finish international relations, come and do law. And I had no other plan after finishing international relations anyway, so I was like, why not? Because I like advocating for persons, and I like ensuring a person's rights are respected. And so I went ahead and I did the law degree after international relations, and then time came to go to law school. And I had a lot of my role models really encouraged me and guided me down the path. And so I eventually decided, I'm going to go to law school. I'm going to do this because it's very wide in scope. Law is limitless. It goes into basically any arena, even medicine. You deal with the laws of medicine. So it's really, really limitless. So I could be able to help a lot of people, advocate for many people, ensure change where necessary, and ensure there's peace and security and that kind of thing. So it just happened, but I'm enjoying it.
Okay. All right, great. So, hi, Leona. Welcome so much. I'm so happy to have you this morning. But so Leona, I know you're from St. Lucia, and I recognize you are repping your colors. You see what? I don't know if maybe you did it incidentally. I don't know if it was a deliberate plan.
It wasn't planned at all.
Wow.
It just happened.
All right, great,
yeah.
Leona.
Okay, Leona Melius from St. Lucia, an economics major. I'm currently on my final year doing my master's program at the University of the West Indies in St. Augustine. Okay. I'm actually back home in St. Lucia.
Oh, wow. Beautiful. So you see, we have, to all our viewers, those of you who would have just joined us, we are looking at issues in focus with Shabekie Vyphius, and I'm interviewing some university students. So I have someone from the University of the West Indies. We have students from University of the Southern Caribbean, and we also have persons from Woodin Law School. All right, great. So can you just, so we gathered information about Leona. So we're on the question on why did you decide to do what you're doing in terms of your choice of career?
Oh, I have always been from secondary school a science major, and basically the rest of my family, they're doctors, nurses, and God just shifted my direction. I got accepted into medical school and I opted out because, wow. Yeah, for me, just the nature of the job, it was really demanding. And as a woman, I wanted the flexibility of not being out at night,
Yeah.
And stuff like that. So I said, nah, that's not something for me. So God directed me to acquiring my first degree in economics. Now, that was my first time doing anything business related or within that field, the social sciences. It was really my first time. And I grew to like it. And after that, I did that at the University of the West Indies in Trinidad as well. Coming back, I became a teacher. And I teach mathematics. I'm actually a math teacher. But my passion has always lied in economics. And economics is very analytical and very math-oriented, and you have econometrics on all of those maths. So it has always been just a sweet spot for me, being able to understand what the systems around and what drives the systems, what drives governments. Just that ability, I just really wanted to exploit further. So here I am, my final year.
Oh, beautiful. So I want you to officially meet Arsel Jones, who would have just completed her degree in economics also. So I guess even after this platform, Arsel, you guys can communicate afterwards.
Just one question. Your degree, your master's program is 2 years. It was a 2 years program.
For the full-time program, it's 1. I do it full-time, but if it was part-time, it would have been 2.
Wow, beautiful. Okay. Arsel, great. Make your connections and find out, because I want to see you guys continue to soar high. All right, great. So even as we continue to move along, when it comes to, in terms of the challenges as students, you know, we are in a foreign land and there are going to be challenges, or there were challenges that we would have encountered. I want you to just state, at least, just for the interest of time, can you just state at least one major challenge that you would have encountered while here at studying?
Okay, one of my major challenges was adjusting to the fact that I was alone, basically. I had the emotional support from my family and friends, but just the presence, I had that issue. And I know God was always with me, so that was the reassuring factor. But just having persons present, your loved ones, family, I was really, that was a bit challenging for me. As it relates to the workload as well, that was a bit challenging, but I knew what I came to do, and I was prepared in my mind to do whatever it took to get myself done and to, you know, pursue further. So.
Wow. Thank you very much for sharing that. All right, great. So who will be next? Just name at least one challenge you would have encountered. All right, go ahead, Padmore.
Okay, so my challenge was just settling into a new environment. Leaving home brings with it the need for you to find a space where you feel comfortable. It's not the same as being home. So I find like my challenge was initially settling into a new space. That was one of the major things that I encountered.
Okay. All right. Thank you for that. All right. So, Summer?
Yeah. For me, the main challenge would have been like family in that, yeah, you were kind of like you're alone and you didn't have your family, because I started in 2016 and then my family left in 2017. My mom and my siblings, they went back home. They remigrated back home. So not being able to like be around your family was a big issue for me. And then I came and I lost one of my really, really close cousins, and I wasn't there when he died, and I didn't get to go to the funeral. Like I really wanted to go back for the funeral, so I didn't get to go back for the funeral. So I never really kind of had closure. So that was really hard for me. So not being able to like be around my family and stuff like that, that would have probably been the hardest thing for me.
Yeah, I feel your pain on that. I feel your pain. All right. So we're gonna take Dexter now, Arsel now on this. I'm gonna leave Dexter for last.
One of the biggest challenges that I would have experienced is that I came from a place where I was entirely independent and had the ability to get a job and travel with a car and what's not. And then you came across here and it was kind of like more restricting because, of course, you couldn't work and you couldn't take yourself places. And I didn't even know bus costs that much, like maxis. I didn't even know how to spend this sort of money on bus fares. So that was like the only challenge, traveling and relearning the country.
Okay, thank you. Go ahead, Dexter.
Yeah, well, I share all the challenges they've had, but my biggest was I had a medical issue. So moving to Trinidad and now having to find new doctors and nurses, because back home I'm familiar with my doctors and my nurses, and they basically know what is wrong with me within seconds. So moving to Trinidad, having to find a new doctor, a close hospital to go to, and that kind of thing, that was a major challenge. And then I have health insurance in Guyana, I don't have that here.
Yeah.
And it's super expensive over here to go to the hospital. So that was a major challenge for me.
All right, thank you so much for that, for sharing that information. So all of us, even as students, we have our varying challenges that we encounter. And I just want to encourage those persons who are listening to know that it doesn't matter the challenges that we would have encountered, we were able to ride out the storms through God. And that is why they are a testimony. I mean, Lesia, most of them are still finishing off, maybe just a 1 month remaining, a few months remaining. But trust me, if God would have brought them from the beginning, He is certainly going to see each one of us to the end. So even for you who are listening and you're thinking that I cannot take that step, I cannot go to a foreign land to study, we would have made it. And it's only because of God, and you can do the same. Don't allow no situation or your circumstance to keep you down and to allow you not to go towards or not to actually acquire the dreams that you have. And I recognize that no person would have mentioned finance, which is strange. I know normally at USC here, it seems as if the first thing that if we have a prayer meeting or we have anything, and the first thing the persons will talk about, they will testify, thank you, Jesus, for helping me with the finances for the semester. And so I want to ask, because that's so intriguing to me. So I want to know, how did you guys, in terms of finances through school, how did you make it? Were you sponsored? Were you work? I mean, we couldn't work much, but how did you make it through school as it relates to the financial aspect? Let me hear you. All right, so for this one, I'm just going to randomly call some names. All right, go ahead, Arsel.
Finances, but my parents, some other persons who would have assisted. And I would have worked in Guyana and saved them before I came across. So I had accumulated a bit of funds.
Okay, and the thing about it with Arsel came here for just one semester. So Arsel didn't feel the blunt of the 2 semesters. Yes, sorry about that. So Arsel didn't feel the blunt of the strain of being here for 3-4 years. But nevertheless, I'm so happy that she had supportive family. And of course, and I like the point that you made in terms of working before and you were able to accumulate. To our young viewers, I want you to know that in order for you to succeed in life, sometimes you cannot always be dependent upon individuals, but you can save, you can do the much as you can. And at the end of the day, when persons see that, okay, you have something, they'll be more than willing to make more contributions. All right, let me hear you sum on this.
So for me, I have been in Trinidad for a period of time now. And as such, I was able to acquire citizenship, which allowed me to gain access to GATE. However, that would still come with other, finances that you would have to handle on your own.
Yeah.
So GATE helped out a lot. However, there still seems to be some financial backups, and that's like in the internal system. I don't know if we're allowed to go into that. Sometimes you go to find out, okay, so how is the account going? And then you hear about financial expenses that you cannot put your finger on. So that is what I'm currently dealing with right now.
Okay. I get you. I get you on that. But I mean, you're one of the fortunate ones to be on GATE. Congratulations on your citizenship. I guess everybody can't say the same, but no worries. Okay, Trini Guyanese, no worries. All right, Lesia.
Okay, I just want to say one thing. It is getting super warm in here, and I just need to get close to the fan. So, un momento, por favor.
Okay, sure, no problem.
Right, it is hot in Barbados. But just like Arsel, I would have had support from my parents and also funding through like scholarships to assist with paying school.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
And Leona?
Okay, so I am a teacher. I'm a qualified teacher, so I work with my government in St. Lucia, and I also got full tuition funding from the scholarship from the OAS, for which I'm so very thankful.
Oh, yes.
And, so really more independent as it relates to finances, so it was more self-finance for me.
Lovely.
Yeah.
Oh, I've seen, oh my gosh, I have some of my guests here, they didn't really have to punish that much of money. I prayed for the rest that would be the lot for others who are looking. Don't worry, once you start, trust me, you will have systems will be put in place. You'll be able to finish. Aquilah, welcome back. Can you tell me how you were able to acquire finances as it relates to your schooling? Because I know you wouldn't, it's pretty much expensive. But I did an accumulation. I recognized when I checked my account, I saw that there was a total of 150,000 TT dollars. And in my mind, I'm like, what? There is no way I could have saved that money at home to say I'm coming to school. But when I looked at it, I don't think I would have put quarter of that money as my personal finances. Monies came, people just contributed. I'm so grateful for that. So let me hear you, Aquilah.
Okay, well, funding came, well, you're correct. First, I must say, yeah, you're correct that UWDing, the fees for UWDing is very costly, 6 mil. But I was able to get funding from, we got loans, my family got loans, and everybody tried to pitch in, from my aunts, uncles, because what we believe is that it's a family that would, you know, help each other. Family would build you up, and so we support each other and everyone's dreams. So once, and I think that that's the same practice that I would continue. So
I love that.
I got funding from from loans, and other family members pitched in.
Okay, thank you very much for sharing. All right, over to you, Dexter.
I share the sentiments of my friend that wooding is very expensive.
Yeah.
I got funding actually from multiple sources. I sold my car, and I also took a loan out, and I also got support from my family and relatives as well, in order to be able to pay the tuition and upkeep myself in Trinidad for those 2 years.
So that loan will have to be repaid by you.
Yes.
All right. I'm thankful. I understand, because I heard Aquilah spoke about family loan, and you talking about loan too. But I'm praying, God, I don't know what happens when it comes to the masters. I'm praying for some scholarship to come along too. But I'm praying that I don't have to pay back when you know when you just start getting your first salary, and when you think about it, your 1 or 2 years money don't belong to you, they belong to the bank, right? I really don't want that feelings, trust me. But I'm happy, at least sometimes in life you just have to make the necessary sacrifices to get where you want to be. So for those of us, those individuals who are listening, everything in life does not necessarily come easy. It comes with great sacrifices. So do whatever you have to do, because at the end of the day, I always say, when you get to acquire your education, that is the only thing that will make you what you really want to be later on in life. And I know right now we are competing with a new norm, and just briefly, because I don't want my time to run out of me before I be able to deal with some of these questions. But briefly, can you tell me how is it that you're dealing with this new norm? Because all of us, I know for USC students, they were sent home, and some other students, almost all universities would have sent home their students. How did you cope in terms of doing predominantly online classes and things like that? Let me just hear you briefly.
The online courses, I would say it wasn't bad, because soon after I'm finished up, I was just doing 2 courses mainly.
Okay.
So it was pretty easy, because one of the courses were already blended, as we would say, which means it's partly online and it's also interface, like you would meet in class. So I would say that it was good. When the other one went online totally, I was happy. So in terms of like courses, it didn't really do anything. The only downside is that in our degree, when you're coming down to the end, there's something that we do called professional experience, where you have to go and commit about 500 hours. So that unfortunately was pulled. So you couldn't have done that.
Wow. So just before you go on, so it does it mean that all of those individuals who are supposed to do the 500 hours, is it possible? Does it mean that they will not be able to graduate because of that?
Well, I don't know much about it, but they would have to complete the hours. I don't know if they would probably have to like speak with their advisors if they would put something in place, because the fault would not necessarily fall on the student, because
Definitely.
It's not like they didn't want to go or whatever. But I think that they would probably have to find somehow to put something in place due to that.
Okay, thank you for that. All right, let's go, Arsel.
So because I was pretty much accustomed to having most of my classes done online on account of me being from Guyana, it wasn't that much of a challenge. However, it was 18 credits I was doing this semester, and they were all major econ courses, and we had already finished about 1/3 of them. So the switch to online kind of started out really difficult, especially since I didn't want to wake up at all because I could sleep. And so what saved me though is that the professor recorded every single session. So when I had to study, I found myself watching all the Zoom sessions the one night. But it works out fine.
I'm happy to hear that. All right, great. What about you, Aquilah?
Yeah, it wasn't difficult because, well, we completed most of our classes earlier in the semester. So all we had to do is just have like review classes online. And those lasted about for a week or so.
Okay.
And then, yeah, so it wasn't difficult at all.
All right, great. Padmore?
Sorry. I think my challenge was adjusting to the fact that I just had to uproot myself and leave school immediately. Like the other seeing that I was coming down, I didn't have really like a lot of credits to do this semester, but I think the mental impact of having to leave school and not feeling as though I get to say goodbye and a lot of different stuff regarding my friends and the environment where I would have lived for 4 years essentially. It just felt it was hard in that regard. So having to pick up and leave, like I was numb. I didn't want to pack. When I got home, it was like I was just in Trinidad yesterday. I'm home now. It just feels so surreal and strange, and it was a lot. I would have explained to my lecturers like kind of like the emotions that I was going through, and they were very understanding too. And they explained, okay, I know that this is impacting persons psychologically and what's not. So they gave a little leeway regarding somebody's submission of assignments, praise the Lord. But I don't think it necessarily impacted the academics initially, but the impact was more so psychological, which filtered into the whole academic aspect. So yeah,
Okay.
that was
Thank
my
you.
situation.
All right. So Leona, over to you. How did you adjust to the new norm?
Given that the nature of the program is very, very much independent learning, the blended approach began prior to the whole pandemic. So, and we were already basically done. Pieces and preparation for encountered and still encounter so many distractions being back home. It's like when you're in Trinidad in your safe space of studying, you know, you're in the full element of school and studying.
Yeah.
But when you're back home, it's like, oh my gosh, I'm with family, I'm with friends, and you know, you're just kind of more laid back. So that's where I am, but I'm really starting to reconnect and understand that, okay, well, we have exams coming up and we have deadlines, so I'm getting back there to that place where I'm supposed to be. But the blended approach was okay, it was good.
Nice. And I just want to piggyback a bit on Padmore's point, and then Leonie, you made a point too, because that's one of the reasons why I was glad that they granted us the opportunity of staying or going if we want, because I know to go home and to do, number one, the internet is a bit unstable, but besides that, the distraction. When people know you're home, people, in as much as it's COVID, I mean, you know, people will still come around and things like that. So I was like, no. This is my final semester. I am not going to I don't ever no excuses. So I'm going to just stay put here. Even if it gets boring, I'm going to find something to do, but I'm not going home until I finish USC, right? And that is why I actually stayed here, because I know the distraction that you're talking about, and I know the psychological effect that Padmore spoke about, because I'm looking at my room and I'm like, I have to do what? Pack? And I don't know when I'm going to return here. No, I'm not in that mood of packing. No, right? So, yeah, Dexter, what about you?
Yeah, well, like Aquilah said, our semester was almost over as well when we were told that to stay home, basically, that school was going to close. The only few challenges we had, because the classes online were actually good and there weren't many, but one of the assignments was due during the time that they gave the short window to leave the country. Yeah, an assignment was due at the same time. So getting the school to agree to a new date for the assignment, an extension, that was one of the issues. And also we do legal aid in your final year, which means that you deal with life cases, persons' estate cases and family cases and divorces and so on. And you had to just drop all of that and leave. And you know, you had clients depending on you. and you have an assessment coming up on that as well. You need the information from the files to do that kind of assessment, and that you can't get that online. You need to get that from the file, but you can't go to school because they had to close. But besides that, everything else was just a smooth flow. The school made it as easy as possible. The tutors made it as easy as possible as well.
Okay, I'm happy to hear. So Dexter, let me get this straight. You're home in Guyana right now?
No, I'm in Trinidad. I'm in Trinidad.
Okay. I just wanted to clarify that one, because I know in my mind I'm thinking, okay, yeah, you're in Trinidad, but all right, great. So thank you very much for sharing those experiences with the new norm. Coronavirus. Oh my God, this is a different year. What I anticipated 2020 to be like, I since it was 2018, I told persons 2020 is my year, and I never knew, because the song of 2020 just sounded really well, but I guess the year really disappointed everyone. Persons right now want to up out of 2020, want the year to finish faster than anything else, but it is what it is. And I just have two final questions to ask you guys. And you're going to do it together, because I just want it to be brief. The first one is, are you optimistic about the future right now in terms of maybe getting a job? Because by September, by August, the latest, everybody is school free. Well, with the exception of Summer and Lesia, but everybody else is school free. So what are you going to do? Oh, Leona, you will continue school also, right? Or you're finishing this year?
I'm finishing this year.
Good. So for the rest of us, we're school free. So are you optimistic in terms of employment and all of those things? For those who are still in school, what about coming back to school? Tell me something about that. And the second question I want to just tell me one thing would you advise someone who is who may want to come to a foreign land to study, but they may be scared. So you're just going to answer those two questions for me very briefly. So we are going to take Dexter this time for a starter. You would have, I know the ladies are shaking their heads because they're like, yeah, finally. So we're going to allow the gentleman to lead us on these two questions. Go ahead, Dexter.
Yeah, I am looking forward to the future. I am looking forward to moving forward from here. This won't last forever. And I know I've already been seeing progress in different countries, and I know it will be gone very soon, hopefully. And the future is still bright. The future is still bright. We're all going to accomplish what we wanted to accomplish. We're almost graduates, actually. So we're all going to accomplish what we want to accomplish, whether in 2020 or the years to come. And for somebody that's scared, being scared is a natural feeling. That's okay. You could be scared, but think about why you want what you want and the lives you could touch by doing this, and person that could be depending on you. You know, so yes, you might be scared, but take the leap of faith. Make the first step, and things will fall into place.
Amen. Sound like a very nice sermon there. I love that. All right. Let me just go see straight up. I'm going to switch over to law, Aquilah, seeing that both of you did law. Are you optimistic about the future, and what would you advise persons who may be scared to come to study in a foreign land?
Yes, I'm very much optimistic about the future. I know that we have we've seen that there's progress in the vaccine, so I know that someday, sometime soon, we will have the cure, and this virus will end someday soon, right? So I'm very optimistic about the future. And as it relates to advising any student who is interested in studying in a foreign land, I would say that you should do it. I also advise that you should have a financial plan, and you should also put all your plans to God as well, because you can plan all you want, and then
True.
God could make a whole mess of that plan. I've seen it happen many times. So put the plans to God, and as my friend Dexter said, take the leap of faith. You don't worry about how you're gonna get there or how you're gonna get things. I mean, the big picture you wouldn't see the big picture just yet. But once you take the leap of faith, things will work out. So yeah, that's it.
Thank you for sharing that. Thank you. Thank you. So we're hearing one team recorded here. Take the leap of faith, folks, those who are listening. All right, let's go, Arsel. What about you? All right, so I'm going to switch to Leona. Are you optimistic right now about the future? And what would you advise someone who may want to come to a foreign land but they're scared?
Okay, now I'm a very realistic person. I like being very real and very frank. So as it relates to optimism, in the short run, I don't feel very optimistic. I believe that we will have challenges, as with as comes with any crisis on a global scale. So we have to tighten our waist and anticipate in the distant future that things will not be as smooth sailing, and as we already see. So as it relates to optimistic, I think that's a more long-term to medium-term viewpoint that I will have. Okay. For me as an individual, I believe that we are the most valuable assets that any country or any society could have. So once we have the breath of life and the health, for me, that's where the optimism comes. We, as a human resource, we just have to continue to strengthen our immune system, strengthen our mental capacity so that we could function well. As it relates to persons being scared or apprehensive about studying in a foreign land, I totally understand. And to a certain extent, I totally agree with them not being willing to take that so-called leap of faith at this time. I also believe in being very calculative with your risks. So just make sure, as Aquilah rightly said, plan in advance. Consider the pros, the cons, because now with the advent of the whole coronavirus and the pandemic, we now realize that blended approach and even the online studies is a creditable approach. So maybe another alternative to those who may feel a bit fearful would be to resort to online learning, which most universities undoubtedly have had to strengthen their online learning platform.
Definitely.
So for those who may feel scared about actually leaving your comfort zone of home to pursue studies elsewhere among this crisis, you could maybe consider the alternative of online learning. I believe for me as a person, I really value the experience of learning overseas. It made me a lot more independent. It helped me to see myself and understand myself a lot more. So for persons who want to gain that level of independence, discovering yourself, like I always tell my students, I teach at a secondary school. The secondary school life that you experience is not life yet. When you actually go to a university out of your country, you see life, you see the world for what it is. True. And studying abroad, it gives you that authentic experience which the online platform will not permit. So I would advocate on that note, once you plan properly and God is your director, that the sky is the limit. There may be persons who may not be academically inclined and they may resort to maybe opening a business. I mean, just leave it all up to God and weigh your options and let God have his way in the whole process. That's all I say.
Amen. Thank you so much. All right, Arsel, you ready now? Go right ahead.
All right. So if you hear any noise in my background, I'm in the country, so just excuse it. In terms of the future, for me personally, I believe it's pretty, like it feels very, very brightish, like looking good. I feel as though I'm still young and I would have achieved a lot. So even though Corona would have caused a setback, it wouldn't have really been that big an impact on my life because I still have time to do much more. For the world of itself, it's going to heal. This will not be the end of us. This will not be the end of the world. And I can assure you that within the next 3 to 5 years, the new normal will be the old normal. And we'll be living the new normal. So I would encourage persons who have an interest in joining university and pursuing their further studies. That, like Miss Melius would have stated, you can take your time and go after the more online, the e-learn sort of angle. Um, and then as things get better, you can just transition to campus life and what's not. There's nothing to be afraid of, but unless you're asthmatic or old, then be very afraid. Um, but take a chance, take a calculated chance, and have a lot of faith and trust. And even more than having faith, put in the work. If it is that you would have been asking persons for advice, and like 10 out of the 20 persons are telling you no, or 11 out of the 10 11 out of the 20 persons are telling you no, the next 9 is telling you yes. Then let God be the deciding factor. Also, use your common sense, because you have that. I'm sure you have that. Use your common sense. Do you think you should leave the country? Is it safe? Is it good? Work with your own means and pray a lot. You're gonna be fine.
All right, thank you. All right, let me take Summer.
For me, so my whole thinking process was a little bit different, because I was thinking along the religious lines, in that looking around us now, and to me, the signs are all foretelling that Jesus is coming is very soon. So for me, think to further education and stuff like that, for me, frankly, I don't think that now the time to do such. However, for those who would want to do the schooling and whatnot, honestly, I didn't just come and say, let me just do a degree because people were telling me to. What I did was I set a time aside and I prayed and I fasted with my mother. And then the night that we did such, well, the day into the night, yeah. When we did such, the answer was revealed to both of us simultaneously. So I think coming to study is a great decision that could change your life entirely. So I don't think it's a choice or a decision that you should make haphazardly. If that is what you want to do, I would suggest to you, take it to God in prayer and be sincere with it and let him reveal it to you, because only he knows the future. You don't know the future. I don't know the future. You understand? But in terms of like the future for me, all I could see really is just wrapping up times, really. Honestly, like I wasn't thinking about things going back to normal. For me, I just don't think that it would be the same again. That's just me. I really don't see it being the same again. However, as I said, pray about it and, let's see what happens. Am I optimistic for the future? Not really, because I'm not saying that I know what's gonna happen. Like if I could tell the future, it's just like according to what like prophecy has been showing, yeah, you have an idea of what is going to happen. So I don't think it's gonna go back to being 100% normal, because I think that there are things happening behind the scene that not many of us is privy to, and we need to be on our guard.
All right, thank you. All right, let me take Padmore.
Okay, so I agree with everything that was previously said. I am optimistic for the future, even though sometimes I am fearful. And as it was said before, fear is a natural emotion. Sometimes fear comes in, it creeps in, but we have to give our fears over to God. Of course, in the midst of a pandemic, you will be fearful. You might be wondering, what is next? Will I be able to get a job after this? How will things be able to play out, especially for myself working in a healthcare industry? I'm gonna have to put myself at risk at some point, even to do my practicum and also working. But there are ways and means to go about doing things in the best way. So for our profession, we've been introduced to the whole concept of telehealth. That's something that we're gonna probably have to be utilizing a lot more. There are jobs that could allow you to be able to be isolated. You could use the virtual means, Zoom, and the different platforms online to be able to get your clients spoken to, for you to advise them, whatever the case may be. So there are possibilities. I do believe that traveling to go to school was a big eye-opener for me. It allowed me the ability to be able to see life through other people's eyes. So if you do get the opportunity to do such, in the foreseeable future, I would advise you to do it. But of course, in light of the pandemic and the after effects that might come, you will need to make a calculated decision, as was discussed before. I don't want you to make yourself sick, or to say you're going on this big adventure and then something happens to you that you would regret. But if it is that as time progresses and you can, take the opportunity. Meeting people from different places opens up your perspective. I felt as though if I had to stay in Barbados, I would only see life through the eyes of a Bajan, or only see life through the eyes of what Barbados has to offer. But when you go out there and you see the possibilities are endless, it opens your eyes, and you meet people with different ideas, and it just happens to broaden your worldview. For what was the next question? For persons who might be looking to,
those who may be scared.
Right, those who might be scared, yeah. As I said before, fear is natural. Don't let it hold you back though, because you don't want to say at the end of your life that I didn't do this, or I didn't do that, or I didn't try this, or I didn't try that because I was afraid. It is normal, it is natural. Give it over to God. Talk to people who might have gone the route before you. Talk to persons who would have studied in foreign countries to get a perspective as to what to do and how to manage those challenges that you might have, but still step out in faith, because there's a lot to be achieved, and there's a lot of good to come out of a situation where you're able to explore and travel and to get a new perspective on how things work out there.
All right. So thank you all for your varying responses. I took keen note of how some persons responded. As I listened to Leona, I said Leona responded merely on the economic point of view, and I saw that coming out strongly in her presentation. So if I was doing a debate here, I thought about a wonderful mood for or against. I recognize that definitely we'll have persons for or against, and it depends against on the field of economics, because your field and Arsel field is sort of a bit different. So Arsel responded based on her field. Then we had the lawyers. They responded in terms of, okay, they're already thinking about law firm, you know, in the future, that maybe when we accept it to the bar, don't worry, there are many persons who will still come to us. So we're not gonna worry about anything. We're still optimistic. We still have our clients, right? So as I listen to everyone, I recognize, well, of course, some dealt with it more prophetically, and Padmore narrowed down in terms of her country base, and you know, for us to have the varying worldview, and of course looking at some of the disadvantages that will come from the coronavirus. But for me, I'm just gonna enjoy life one day at a time, and I try not to allow anything to distract me. I don't know anything about employment as yet, but one of the things I always say in every situation, look at it. There might be something else God is saying to you. There might be something else you may not be able to, let's say in terms of, let's say optimism in terms of a career path. There might be something God wants you to do privately or personally, right? So so explore the options. So even though you would have specialized in a certain area, could it be that I could have my private establishment in this thing at this point in time if I don't go out? So I want all my professionals here who are listening to me, all the guests who are here, let us look at it in the sense of, okay, we have specialized in a particular field. Well, for the lawyers, they haven't really specialized it yet, but at least you would have completed your law degree, well, in the few months to come. But look at this to see what else can you explore. And one of the things I love to tell young people, let us not limit ourselves with one thing. Try and see, like Leona, I taught before, I am now persons want to know, how come you gone from teaching to ministry? There's some people never knew that I was actually doing theology over here until they saw a flyer, and they were like, what, that is what you're doing? We thought you're doing education, right? I'm currently, what I did, my minor in psychology. I love psychology. Most likely I'm going to proceed with my master's in the area in psychology. So for me, I don't like the idea about limiting myself. So it doesn't matter how dull the world may seem. There's so many things that happened in the past. I can remember when I was reading, the science flu happened sometime in the 19-something, and that almost a century ago. And we weren't alive, so we had no clue about that. Our children may come and they will never know that coronavirus existed until they read it. So we don't really know 100% what the future holds. I hold some point indeed, yeah, we know that prophecies are fulfilling. But at the end of the day, let us try to make ourselves happy. Don't let us keep ourselves down. Even as the world turns, at the end of the day, each one of us will still have our varying decisions to make. So I must say thank you once again for taking the time out to be on this interview with me today. It was really a pleasure. I must say to my audience, some of you may not know, but it's the very first time I'm meeting Dexter and Leona. And that is to say, sometimes, you know, as young people, I want us to continue to mobilize ourselves, don't keep ourselves in a vacuum. Let us get out, let us meet new people, meet other professionals in varying fields. Encourage some other person who may be down, but they may not want to take that leap of faith, right? Let us encourage them so at the end of the day, they too can be successful in whatever field that they would have endeavored to complete. So thank you so much for taking the time out. Aquilah, Shepherd, Lesia, Arsel, Leona, and Dexter. So I do trust and hope that maybe at another forum, when you guys get a little more in your field, when I need the economic person, Leona, to come to Guyana to maybe give a speech, you know, I know she will be there to talk about it. All right, so when I start my missionary club and I know I have my missionaries, Aquilah will represent those who are there in terms of signing up the legal documents, and Arsel, I know you would be on the team to ensure that persons would have do the necessary touring and things like that. I know I'll have my cook, Padmore, who will check to ensure and inspect that everything is going all right in the place. Then Summer will do our dietitian part and ensure that, you know what, people are on par with what they have to do. Dexter will be the overseer lawyer, and he will just be looking and just to ensure if Aquilah makes any mistake to correct it along the way. So it is my hope and dream that one day we will indeed get to connect. And thank you once again. So you were listening to Issues in Focus with Shabekie Vyphius, and I'm going to see each and every one of you. To my viewers, thank you always for tuning in, for listening, and for learning something new. Please remember you can share this video. It is meant to motivate and to encourage someone else who may be in a situation, but because of these young persons and their ambitions and their leap of faith that they would have taken, all of them would have gone to a foreign land to study. Well, in this sense here in Trinidad and Tobago, don't be afraid. Whether it be the University of the Southern Caribbean, whether it be the University of the West Indies, whether it be you Wooden Law School, or whatever school you may want to take to come and study, or any institution, take that leap of faith. Remember, God is going to be with you. God is going to guide you through. But you just have to ensure that He is your pillar. So thank you once again, guys, and I'm going to see you again next time.